As we embark on this exploration of your personal essence, I'd like to extend a brief suggestion. If content like this aids in gaining clearer self-insight, if you appreciate delving into the concealed aspects of your thoughts and spirit, I kindly invite you to join the channel. It's an easy action, yet it supports my efforts in maintaining this area for contemplation and personal growth. Let's pause for a deep inhale as one and enter the serene spot where your inner voice starts to emerge. Before you are positioned 4 creature guides: the fox, the eagle, the rabbit, and the raven. On initial view, they could appear as appealing icons arranged together, but actually, every one serves as an entrance to a unique facet of your mind. They aren't arbitrary selections, and your draw toward a specific one holds greater significance than it seems. Maybe while viewing the picture, a certain form grabbed your focus ahead of the rest. Perhaps it evoked a known sensation, a faint internal tug, a soft, "that's it." Based on Jungian theory, this initial response is seldom random. Our subconscious communicates via icons. And when an element connects right away, it frequently uncovers what is active inside us during this precise phase of existence. Icons aren't merely sketches or creatures. They bear feeling, recollection, and impulse. They murmur realities we commonly ignore amid the chaos of everyday routines. And due to that, your pick, regardless if it seemed swift or instinctive, is presently a signal from your personal realm. You might not completely grasp it currently, but it exists there ready to be revealed. Each of the 4 guides mirrors a distinct type of personal power. The fox contains cleverness, adaptability, and the bravery to chart your individual route. The eagle signifies elevation, vision, and endurance. The rabbit conveys gentleness, intuitive awareness, and the subtle force of restoration. The raven symbolizes mystery, perception, and the knowledge to perceive what many miss. However, prior to examining them separately, the initial move is just to ease up sufficiently to perceive what your selection aims to convey. This segment intends to unlock that portal carefully, to assist you in exhaling, halting, and directing your focus internally, to emphasize that this isn't an evaluation of character. It is an instant of linkage with the segment of yourself that frequently remains unobserved. Selecting one of these guides isn't regarding determining who you aim to become, but acknowledging what you require at this time. Possibly versatility, possibly fortitude, possibly recovery, possibly discernment. Whatever attracted your gaze initially is directing you to a more profound comprehension of yourself. And now, with the entrance ajar, it's the moment to proceed further into the realm of the fox. The essence of shrewdness and personal allegiance. The fox is the initial guide to appear from the obscurity of the emblematic terrain. And it achieves this with a calm assurance, not through clamor. If this is the creature that seized your interest, it indicates something vital about the vitality circulating inside you presently. The fox addresses the aspect of you that prioritizes honesty above ease, liberty above conformity, and genuineness above all fabricated. Opting for the fox frequently implies that you possess a honed perception, one that steers you even when you lack full comprehension of the reason. You could experience sensations prior to labeling them. You could detect individuals' motives well ahead of them, displaying through behaviors. This isn't fantasy. It's impulse. And impulse is among the most ancient varieties of insight the human spirit holds. Individuals attracted to the fox typically traverse a trail that is distinctly theirs. Not since they dismiss others, but since they can't deceive themselves merely to blend into settings that don't align. There exists an inherent autonomy within you, a wish to progress through existence with sincerity and lucidity. And still, ironically, foxes aren't genuinely isolated beings. They yearn for significant bonds, but solely with those who demonstrate faithful, anchored, and authentic in your personal existence. You might have encountered instances where you sensed misconstrued or misplaced, not since you were incorrect, but since your acuity to honesty rendered you conscious of matters others opted to disregard. You might have journeyed solo occasionally, acquiring to depend on your personal internal guide, finding that depending on yourself isn't isolation, it's potency. But similar to any model, the fox vitality bears difficulties. Those who connect with it commonly construct sentimental barriers to shield themselves from disloyalty or letdown. You could maintain your core protected, disclosing your fragility only to a highly chosen group. You could waver to believe, even when somebody possesses positive aims, because your impulse murmurs alerts you can't fully articulate. Nevertheless, inside you resides a deep allegiance. Allegiance not merely to others, but to your most profound self. Once an individual gains your confidence, your commitment is immovable. This is among the most lovely attributes of the fox essence. The capacity to cherish intensely, defensively, and completely. One of the fox's supreme offerings is its skill to maneuver the unfamiliar. When obscurity descends in the woods, the fox doesn't fret. It attends. It adjusts. It discovers its path via perception instead of reasoning. And you as well possess this ability. Even amid unsure stages of existence, you maintain an internal awareness that steers you even if the trail isn't yet brightened. But an existence directed solely by impulse can turn draining. Occasionally impulse requires moderation with anchoring, with quietude, steadiness, and the potency to remain solid. And this is where the subsequent guide arrives, equilibrating the untamed vitality of the fox with firm might the eagle. Following the perceptive untamed vitality of the fox, we access a quite distinct domain, one that seems loftier, more serene, more elevated. The eagle doesn't hasten. It doesn't pursue or respond rashly. Rather, it perches as a constant existence, a silent vigor that communicates not via motion, but via elevation. If this is the essence you selected, it implies that far inside you rests a reservoir of potency that has been formed by all you've withstood. The eagle isn't an emblem of hostility. It is an emblem of perseverance, the sort that develops gradually, stratum by stratum, via trials, duties, and instants where you possessed no option but to remain robust. Individuals attracted to the eagle model frequently needed to mature quicker than peers. They acquired early what it signifies to bear load, to maintain matters intact when existence turns erratic. If the eagle connected with you, you could be somebody others instinctively seek for constancy. You deliver a silent comfort anywhere you proceed, even if you don't acknowledge it. Your existence by itself can render people sense more secure. You aren't vocal about your potency, but it is evident. You possess an elevated manner of progressing through the globe, a tranquility that stems from having confronted tempests and overcome them. And still, similar to all potent vitalities, the eagle's potency arrives with obscurities. Those who associate with this model frequently bear excessively on their wings. You could contain your sentiments so as not to weigh on others. You could evade requesting assistance because you've acquired to depend mainly on yourself. You could sense uneasy displaying fragility, as if tenderness would in some way reduce your value. But the eagle instructs something crucial. Genuine potency encompasses the skill to soar, to ascend above, to withdraw into your own eyrie, not to flee existence, but to rejuvenate yourself. In Jungian iconography, the eagle's flight symbolizes an ascent to the personal self, a procedure of revival that demands quiet, self-examination, and endurance. If you were attracted to this essence, it could be an indication that portion of you is yearning for this type of personal ascent, an area where you can inhale, re-link with yourself, and reconstruct your vitality. Another manifestation of the eagle's vitality is guardianship, not only toward others, but toward your personal sentimental realm. You might defend it meticulously, permitting few individuals entry. You might be the individual who supports others regardless, yet finds it hard to allow others support you. Even so, people who connect with the eagle frequently undervalue their sentimental profundity. Underneath your potency rests a deep acuity, one that seldom receives the opportunity to be observed, because you sense accountable for maintaining all intact. But not each spirit requires elevation or load. Some require mildness, restoration, revival, and that leads us to the subsequent essence, one that glides tenderly, communicates softly, and restores merely via its existence, the rabbit. Following the elevated load and silent might of the eagle, the vitality transitions into something milder, nearly delicate, yet deeply significant. The rabbit doesn't advance with vigor or uproar. It appears in the setting softly like a gust of crisp wind, following a burdensome period, emphasizing that kindness can be equally potent as potency. If this is the essence that attracted your interest, it reveals much about the sentimental profundity and soft perception inside you. The rabbit is the model of restoration. Its existence frequently manifests in the existences of those who have been injured, not merely by striking occurrences, but by minor recurring aches that left imprints the globe doesn't invariably observe. Yet, regardless of these sufferings, individuals attracted to the rabbit have stayed receptive. They have preserved their cause tender. They sense profoundly, observe minor actions, and advance through existence with a consciousness that others at times disregard. Compassion is one of your concealed potencies. You detect the sentiments of others, at times even prior to them voicing them. You are the type of individual who observes unease in somebody's gaze before they utter a term. You could take in the vitality of a space without attempting merely because your acuity is precisely calibrated. But similar to any lovely offering, this acuity bears its difficulties. Individuals who connect with the rabbit frequently battle with limits. You could place others' requirements ahead of your own, believing that benevolence signifies self-denial. You could evade disagreement from dread of injuring somebody, even when your personal core is the one bearing the cost. You might quiet your ache to maintain harmony or conceal your sentiments because you don't wish to weigh on those near you. The rabbit instructs a vital teaching. Kindness isn't frailty. It is potency manifested via empathy. It is perseverance manifested via mildness. And your sentimental profundity isn't something to conceal. It is something to respect. The iconography of the rabbit's ears is especially significant. Constantly alert, they symbolize the capacity to listen deeply and regenerate from quiet observation. This innate pattern reflects your personal skill to renew sentimentally, spiritually, and intellectually, regardless what has occurred to you. There is a portion of your spirit that understands how to commence anew. In Jungian theory, the rabbit is connected to the model of the restorer. Not the restorer who mends others via exertion, but the restorer whose existence itself delivers tranquility. Maybe you don't acknowledge how calming your vitality can be, how your empathy generates security, how your soft sincerity renders people sense observed. And yet restoration isn't finished without lucidity. Acuity can steer the core, but knowledge steers the thoughts. Following the mildness of the rabbit, the subsequent essence delivers keener sight, the skill to observe what resides below the exterior, even in obscurity. This is where the raven arrives, bearing enigma, perception, and the bravery to confront what is frequently left unvoiced. Following the rabbit's tender restoring existence, the raven comes with a distinct type of vitality. More silent but keener, milder but more incisive. The raven doesn't communicate boisterously, nor does it depend on motion or force. Its potency resides in consciousness. If this essence seized your interest, it signifies a specific type of perception resides inside you. The skill to discern realities long prior to them emerging and to detect what others frequently disregard. The raven is the model of personal knowledge. Those attracted to it frequently identify feelings, configurations, or motives that others overlook. Perhaps you've invariably sensed, like you simply comprehend matters without requiring clarifications. Perhaps you've detected when somebody wasn't being sincere, or when a circumstance bore a faint strain nobody else recognized. This skill isn't happenstance. It is perception functioning at a very profound degree. Individuals linked to the raven tend to be watchers. You might perch silently in a space, but comprehend more about what's occurring than those who communicate the most vocally. You interpret between the phrases, observing the nuance below the terms and the reality below the facade. This is your offering and occasionally your load, because observing profoundly can be separating. When you discern matters others don't, it can sense as if you reside somewhat separate from the globe around you. You could restrain your perceptions because they seem excessive or you fear they might disturb people. You could sense misconstrued merely because your remarks run more profound than casual conversation or exterior degree sentiments. Simultaneously, your thoughts are dynamic, maybe overly dynamic occasionally. You could overconsider, examine, rotate concepts in loops. The raven's knowledge is deep, but it also demands equilibrium, or its lucidity can change into intellectual fatigue. Nevertheless, this contemplative character is portion of who you are. You don't merely wish to encounter existence, you wish to grasp it. What renders the raven distinctive isn't solely its cleverness, but also its valor. To observe the reality is one matter, to embrace it is another. And those who connect with the raven frequently hold the potency to confront tough actualities, even when others select rejection. The raven directs you toward your personal tone, the one that murmurs even when you'd prefer not to attend. This is what's genuine. In Jungian iconography, the raven signifies the sagacious ancient model, the personal advisor who manifests when you're prepared to advance into a more profound phase of self-consciousness. Its existence requests you to believe your perception, to cease ignoring your perception, and to respect the portion of you that observes clearly even in obscurity. But knowledge by itself isn't the conclusion of the voyage. Neither is impulse, potency, or acuity. The genuine change occurs when all four vitalities unite. When the fox, the eagle, the rabbit, and the raven merge into a solitary unified comprehension of who you truly are. And now, with all four essences examined, we can access the ultimate segment, the instant of combination, where all you've uncovered starts to align. We've arrived at the concluding segment of this voyage. But actually, this is where all genuinely commences. Selecting one of the four creature guides wasn't regarding categorizing who you are. It was regarding attending to the portion of your personal realm that is communicating the most prominently presently. Because though one essence captured your interest, the reality is that all four reside within you in varied manners, ascending and pausing as existence progresses through its cycles. The fox signifies impulse and guidance. The eagle incorporates potency and anchoring. The rabbit bears restoration and sentimental profundity. The raven provides lucidity and reality. And yet each of these vitalities exists not as distinct personas, but as aspects of a solitary spirit, yours. If you were attracted to the fox, it could be because you're accessing a period in your existence when you need to believe yourself more profoundly, to recover your autonomy, or to attend to the impulse you've been overlooking. If the eagle communicated to you, maybe your spirit is requesting for constancy, for a re-linkage to your base, or for an instant of personal pause after extended durations of duty. If the rabbit affected your core, it might signify that you are desiring mildness, sentimental revival, or allowance to milden where you've been too severe on yourself. And if it was the raven, perhaps a reality is surfacing, one you've detected for an extended time, but are ultimately prepared to confront. The loveliness of this iconography resides in its adaptability. You aren't locked in one group. You aren't one matter. You are a shifting array of impulses, potencies, sentiments, and perceptions. There will be periods in your existence when you incorporate the fox's sharp perception, periods when you require the eagle's steadfast constancy, periods when the rabbit's acuity becomes your director, and periods when the raven's knowledge illuminates the path through obscurity. The model you selected today is merely the one that connects most with your current instant, the vitality advancing forward, because you require it now. Jung thought that the spirit communicates via icons when terms aren't sufficient. and occasionally one picture, one mute linkage, uncovers more about us than hours of logical examination. What you sensed when you viewed these four essences wasn't arbitrary. It was a reply from far inside you, something primordial, something authentic. Maybe the fox recalled you of your valor. Maybe the eagle recalled you of your perseverance. Maybe the rabbit recalled you of your mildness. Maybe the raven recalled you of your reality. And maybe more crucially, you acknowledge that you bear all of these inside you. So as you depart this voyage, pause for an instant to contemplate on what summoned you and why. What portion of you is stirring? What portion of you requires to be attended, respected, or restored? Because occasionally the spirit communicates mildly via icons, via impulses, via faint tugs you can't clarify. And today, via the creature guide that selected you just as much as you selected it. But how does this choice reflect your current life phase? True strength lies in embracing all facets of your soul. What if your instinct is trying to tell you something vital? Could this be the key to unlocking hidden potential? Listen to the whispers of your inner world. Imagine what changes when you honor your true needs. Ready to discover the balance within? If you found this exploration meaningful, please like the video and subscribe to Wake and Win for more insights.